If you want to stay up to date with all current hip hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to become part of this community. So today I wanted to talk about Megan Thee Stallion and her place in hip hop and the role that she is portraying. I got this idea after the other day we went through the Grammy performance listings, so the performances at the Grammys announced before the actual event, which will be this Sunday, March 14th. And she again was on this list, so she's set to perform at the Grammys this year, although in a digital format, but still, getting a Grammy listing is a big thing for an artist. There is a lot of people watching the Grammys, a lot of people also outside of the usual audience that some of these artists are catering to, also Megan Thee Stallion being one of them. She usually has a very hip-hop fan base. She's coming from Houston, so that is also another demographic factor that features into her listeners, but being featured on the Grammys, of course, exposes you to the whole country, also internationally to a whole nother array of potential listeners and fans. And this made me think about all the love that she's been getting throughout this past year. And this is something that I've always kind of talked about on the side when going over these listings and these nominations, but I wanted to really dive a bit deeper and dig into why this is. Why does the mainstream love Megan Thee Stallion so much that they are willing to give her this endless attention that she's been getting over the past year? Now, undoubtedly, Megan Thee Stallion has had one of the best years of her career, probably the best, in 2020. Her big performance was in the summer when she was featured on Cardi B's WAP single, which was undoubtedly probably the biggest song of the year, and the song that stirred up the most controversy and was just the most talked about song. Now, this feature gave her a lot of exposure in the mainstream, and, to new audiences that then became fans. She also dropped an album called Good News later on in the year. I believe it was in the fall, September, October, I believe, or November, which I really wasn't a fan of. It was just very one-sided. The instrumentals were mainly the biggest problem on there. They were just really bland, really unoriginal, and although I like her rapping, and she's in the past has had many really great rap performances, it just wasn't outstanding. I was really hoping that on this new record, she would be able to really break through and become a superstar. Now, you could argue that she's already a superstar, but I'm talking about like musically as well, not just sticking to the things she we know she can do, but actually expanding on the music and trying to reach more people with that. But as I said, I think she failed miserably in that. I know a lot of people will disagree with me, but this is also what I've said in the past already, and I still stand by that. I still do not like Good News at all. So Good News for me was really something that she missed out on and that she could have made way bigger than it actually was. But anyway, now getting back to all the accolades and all the really high profile listings and nominations she got that year. She is now set to perform at the Grammys. She is actually nominated for, I think, more than one Grammy, and she's also been shown love at other award shows, like, for example, the Apple Music Awards. And this to me is very interesting because while of course she's been a very high profile artist for the past year for the reasons I just explained, her music is not really that special. But I think the media is really trying to pick out a new female artist that they can support. Now, I'm not saying that having a strong female figure at the front of music and hip-hop is a bad thing. Not at all. I actually believe that is a very good idea. In hip-hop, it is a very male-dominant genre that also talks about a lot of at some point sexist topics. And this is, of course, nature to the game. I'm not saying this should be abolished or anything. That is just part of what it is. But also, we've just seen a heavy underrepresentation of women in hip-hop. And in the past, those really strong female figures in hip-hop have always kind of come to achieve a very high-profile status. I'm talking Nicki Minaj, I'm talking Iggy Azalea, and most recently, I'm also talking Cardi B. Now, I'm not saying by any means that Iggy Azalea is on the same level musically or skill-wise as, for example, Nicki Minaj. I still feel like Nicki Minaj is the best in terms of skill, in terms of hip-hop ability out of those three. I also have my doubts with Cardi B. But I think a really big part of their success in their career can be attributed to them portraying this role as a strong female figure. And this, of course, is not a bad thing, and they can use whatever they want to really push their career. Now, the same also goes for the men in the industry. You know, you have people showing off however many women they got in their videos and all that, and of course, you can also talk about how morally right that is. But in the end, I think a lot of the success that also Megan Thee Stallion has been seeing and a lot of love that she's been getting comes really from award shows and organizations trying to be politically correct. And this always comes with kind of a negative connotation, but I do not necessarily mean this in a negative way. Don't get me wrong. This is only me kind of talking about where I think this love that Megan Thee Stallion has been getting really comes from. I'm not trying to say that any one portrait or figure that, you know, hip-hop is painting for women or that female artists are painting is right or wrong. You know, I really think Megan Thee Stallion deserves all the success she's been getting, but it's really interesting to see how female artists have always been in this role of a very similar figure that they portray. I think you could really compare Nicki Minaj to Cardi B to Megan Thee Stallion now. They all, in the image they're portraying, are pretty similar. So this is kind of why I believe that the Grammys or the Apple Music Awards or whoever it may be is showing this love to Megan Thee Stallion, because they pick her as this new female figure at the front of hip-hop. Now, I think it's great that hip-hop kind of has this female face now, because that's just something that we haven't seen in the past a lot. But you know, you could argue that by doing that, a lot of the actual talent that goes into the music is neglected and is rather focused on what image they're portraying. But then again, that's always been the case, not just in hip-hop, but in any type of music industry-related topic. But anyway, let me know what you think about this. Do you think Megan Thee Stallion's success can be attributed solely to the fact that she's portraying a certain image of a dominant female face for hip-hop? And do you think she actually has the technical skills as a rapper, as a musical artist, to really become a superstar? Let me know in the comments down below, and let's have a discussion about this. If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media and blog down in the description. It really helps me out. Until the next one, y'all have an incredible day, and y'all take care.